Hello and welcome to this video. My name is Miriam and I'm part of the quirky reading couple. Unfortunately, the other half of the quirky reading couple can't be here. I've said this before, but Jack has quite a demanding job and therefore it's not always possible to film videos together. And to be honest, last weekend we thought about quitting. We posted a video and after that there was a declining number of subscribers and we were like, who is actually interested in our videos? And we thought about giving up. Well, not really giving up like leaving YouTube, but just no more uploading of videos. But then some subscribers started coming back, or I don't know how that worked actually, and we were discussing it, and it feels a bit like if we quit now, it feels like we're only doing this because we want millions of views and we want millions of subscribers, and let's be honest, that's only for a few people. And we do this because we like it. We like to talk about books, but the other part of reality is that we don't have a lot of time to talk about books. It's a thing, we don't live together. I mean, we're together for 1.5 years now, but we don't live together because of reasons. And in the future we do want to live together, but first we want to get married and stuff like that. But anyway, we can't film videos every day of the week. We live apart for, I don't know how many miles that is, but it's 25 kilometers between us. And Jack doesn't drive over to my house to just film a video. We have specific times on which we can film videos, and if we fail to do that at that time, then there's no video. So what we've decided is that at least once a month we will do a video together, and the other videos will be done just by me, mostly. We worked out a schedule for the next 2 months, or to be honest, I worked out a schedule, and we'll be reviewing it in, I think, mid-July, something like that, and again in December. And if there's still no growth in our channel, then we might give up. It feels a bit like, well, we're spending time to this, time we can also spend together doing something we really like. It's not that we don't like this, but the time we spend together is limited. So we have to make choices, and if the choice is that we don't film any more videos so we have more time for deep conversations or something like that, then we choose that over filming videos for other people, especially if other people are not too enthusiastic about it. That's like the deal, we have to make choices. For now we keep on making videos, just not always the two of us. And that said, let me also talk about books in this video, because this channel is about books and it's for people who love books. And therefore I've decided to share my current reads with you. I've done this before because I usually read multiple books at the same time. It's not like I'm sitting there with 2 books in my hands and I'm switching, but you get what I mean. I read like usually up to 2 to 3 books, well, at the same time. I don't know how to put it in a different way, but you probably get what I mean. Currently I'm reading 3 books. The first one is A Grief Observed, the Dutch edition by C.S. Lewis. And I try to read a chapter every morning during my morning routine, and I do this with any non-fiction book. So when I finish this one, I'll start a new non-fiction book and I read like a chapter, or if a chapter is too long, a paragraph or something like that, to keep on reading non-fiction. A couple of years ago I did not read non-fiction at all. I only read fiction books, and I decided that it should change a bit. But I don't have to read as much non-fiction as I read fiction. But the reading of non-fiction has immensely increased since I incorporated it into my morning routine. And A Grief Observed by C.S. Lewis, I've read quite a lot of his other books, The Problem of Pain and Mere Christianity and other types of books, but this is an entire different book. I do understand why people only discovered it was a book by C.S. Lewis after he died, because he wrote it under a pen name. and it's about the grief he felt when his wife passed away. And as you might know, I've shared this before, in November a friend of mine passed away, and well, also from cancer, like C.S. Lewis's wife, so there are some similarities, and the things he writes about grief are very familiar. I do understand them, and it's very raw and it's very intimate. The second book I'm reading is Love Story by Karen Kingsbury, and I have a sort of love-hate relationship with the books by Karen Kingsbury. I mean, they're very easy to read. You get grabbed into the story right away, and I think that's something great, and Karen Kingsbury does a great job at that. But not all of her stories are very realistic, and they get a bit repetitive, because Love Story is the story of John and Elizabeth Baxter, told from, well, he's actually telling the story to his grandson Cole, and it gets a bit repetitive because I am absolutely sure that I've read more about their love story in, I think it was the last book of the first series around the Baxters, and it gets a bit repetitive, and people pray and there's a solution, and I don't think that's very realistic. But for some reason I still want to keep on reading these books, and the reason I'm actually reading it is that the other fiction book I'm reading is not on Koa Plus, and sometimes I do, how can I put that, I do hybrid reading, can you call it like that? So if I have a physical copy of a book, I will read that during the day, but in the evenings when I'm in bed, I turn off the light and keep on reading in that same book. But that's not the case for the fiction book I'm currently reading, so I read other fiction books that don't take a lot of brain space, if you get what I mean. And the books by Karen Kingsbury are very good for that purpose. There are some books that remain with you throughout the day and you can't think of anything else, and that's not the case with her books, so you can easily read them and, well, not care a lot about the stories. That is absolutely definitely not the case for the fiction book I'm reading. It's the Dutch edition of Bluebird, and it's such a gripping book. I don't know if I can find the right words for it, but it has a mystery to it, and it has a call for justice. You get the idea that during the Second World War, everything Germany did was bad and everyone else was very good. And this story takes place after the war. In this story, it's about the daughter of a camp command, not a camp commander, but someone who was a doctor in the camps. And then he realizes what he did was totally wrong and he should pay for his crimes. But the US government wants to catch her father as well, because they want his knowledge of the things he did, of the experiments he did. So there won't be any justice, but he will be sort of forgiven, or he will get a new identity so he can continue his experiments. And that was absolutely mind-blown, and I'm sorry that I just give you a spoiler of the book. It is a gripping story, and it's completely different from all Second World War or post-war stories that I've read so far. And yeah, well, I would recommend this book, definitely. It's, well, to say it's a great book does not really do justice to the book, but it's a very intriguing book that I think a lot of people will not enjoy, but I think a lot of people will need to read this book, because it gets you thinking about justice and what is justice and things like that. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you want to support our channel. So if you do, hit the like button, leave a comment and tell us what you're currently reading, and if you really want to support us, then hit the subscribe button. And as always, happy reading!